Hey, what's up guys, how's it going? In this video, we're going to do the Hulu landing page clone. In the previous videos, we have cloned the SpaceX landing page. We have also cloned the Tesla landing page. In case if you haven't watched them, you can watch them after this video. I'll put the links on the description. So in this video, we're going to do this Hulu web page clone. This is the original Hulu website, and this is our cloned version. I tried to make things as close and as simple as possible, but you can't make everything same 100% accurately. And also I intentionally changed some stuffs. For example, I made this banner section full screen, but in the Hulu web page you can see that the banner is not taking the full screen, but I kind of like the full screen approach. So basically we have this section, and inside the section we have this middle part, and we also have this bottom part. And on the top right you can see that there is a login button. If I click on it, it just gives you a modal to log in. I can close it, and let's scroll down. You can see that this is another section which is taking full screen. This is called a library section. And also here is another section called Spotlight. I didn't name them. I found the names on the Hulu website, so it doesn't really matter. And then finally we have this footer, and this footer is split into 3 sections, and each of the section has columns, and we have some media icons and some legal links. And this website is 100% responsive. So if I open up the Dev tool, let's just decrease the screen width. You can see on the small screen size it's still looking good. And if I scroll down more, you can see that our footer is now looking different. Our footer is now converted into an accursion. I don't know how it's pronounced, but doesn't really matter. If I click on this, the section got expanded and we can see those links, and I can also collapse it. And even if I increase the screen width, the website is still looking good. Alright, so if you are just a beginner or advanced, doesn't really matter. You're going to learn a lot from this video. You're going to learn about CSS position, overlays, how to use background images, how to attach or remove class using JavaScript. We will also use CSS flexbox, grid system, and so on. So if you are interested about this project, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It lets me know you are really enjoying this content. And also, please let me know in the comment section that if you like these project-based videos or if you like specific topic-based videos, please do let me know. I would love to hear from you. So, without further ado, let's get started. Let me give you a quick introduction of mine. My name is Anjan. I'm a full-stack developer, instructor of this channel, and also I write blog posts on qscoding.space. Feel free to check that out. I can develop simple to complex full-stack web application. If you want to see more of my projects, just visit thatanjan.me and then go to projects. You will see the projects that I have worked on. I'm looking for a new opportunity where I can join and provide great value with my skills and knowledge. If you are a recruiter or someone who is looking for a new team member, feel free to contact me. You can contact me through email, LinkedIn, Twitter, or any other social media as thatanjan. All of the links are going to be on the description. Check that out. And also I'm open to talking about freelance work. So if you are a businessman who needs a new website or application, you can contact me and we can work that out. Alright, so enough of my introduction. Let's get straight to the tutorial. Alright guys, I have this basic HTML setup. You can see we have reset.css and style.css file has been linked up. In the directory, I have a CSS directory, which has the reset file and the style file. I'll show you in a minute. And we also have a media directory containing all of the images, icons, and so on. So let's see the reset.css file. And here we have just basically reset the browser styles, and we are using the font family Rubik, which I have imported from Google. Let me show you. So here is the import link. And then we have set max width to 100 view width and overflow X to hidden so that we don't get any horizontal scrolling. Then HTML font size will be 62.5%. This will make one rem equals to 10 pixel so that we can work with rem properly. And then some basic styles. And on the style.css, we have the link, and we have a single variable, the logo green. The Hulu logo green color, we will use that multiple times, so I have stored that in a variable. And that's it for the CSS files. I will close them. Now we're going to build this web page with mobile first approach. First we will work on small screen sizes, and then for larger devices. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to create this top section, which is taking the full height and width. It has a little button on the top, which just opens up a side navigation for login. And this middle section and the bottom section. It's not that complicated, so let's create that. So inside the body, let's create a section with class of top section. The top section will also have a top container which contains the button. So top, and inside the top element there will be a button with login link class, and the text will be login. Then we want the middle section, so let's create a middle section. Then we will create a title. I will just copy the text. Then we will need a middle banner, this image. So let's create a container, middle banner. It will have an image tag, and source will be media / logos.png. Then it will have a subtitle. And I will just copy paste it. Then we will need a button. So button, which will have a class of bundle button. And the text will be get the Disney bundle. And there will be another container. I will call it details. So we will have two links. So href will be £, and we need two of them. So for the first link we want see details, and for the second link we want bundle terms. And inside the middle, in middle of two links, there will be text. And then outside the middle section, I have made a mistake. This middle banner subtitle bundle button will go inside middle container. So let's cut it from here and let's paste it inside the middle. I mistakenly put them outside the middle container. Okay, now that's good. Now let's add another container for bottom. And there will be a logo. This logo. It will have a class of logo. And it is on media / logo.png. And after that I want another container, which is bottom middle container. We need a title, and let's just copy the text, try up to 113. Then we need a description. I will copy it from here. Then I want another button. This time I will use anchor tag. href will be £. It will have a class of free trial button. And the text will be I'll copy it from here. So it will be start your free trial. and our web page looks like this. So let's fix them with CSS. So let's create another file inside the CSS directory. I would call it top section.css. Let's add it to the HTML. It will be top section.css. So let's first select the top section. I will copy this from here. Let's make it position relative. Background image will be URL media/header.jpg. By the way, in case if you're wondering which image I'm talking about, I'm talking about this background image that you are seeing with lots of banners, and it will have a height of 100 view height so that it takes full space. Then background repeat will be no repeat. Color will be white. And we don't see the image. Let's see. Okay, so I made a mistake in the URL path. So it will be /media because we have to go one step back. And here is our image. Okay. Now let's style the top section, this button. So I'll copy this line. And let's select the top. I guess it was the class top. Yes. Top. And let's make it position absolute. I have a video about it on my channel. You can check that out. I'll put the link on the description. So position absolute. Actually, we will make it align to the top section and it will stay at the top. So top will be 0, left will be 0, then height will be 10 rem, and width will be 100%. And let's give it a background color to see, so that we can see. Okay, so here is our top container. Now let's select the login link button. So login link. Let's give it a font size of 1.5 rem. Actually, let's just move this browser to the editor workspace. That's good. And I will move it to the bottom, the div tool. Then text transform will be capitalized. Font weight will be bold. And now we need to move this link to the right. So let's go to the top container and let's make it display grid and align items to center, to make it center vertically, and justify content to end, to move it to the right. Okay, so it has been moved to the right, but we need to add some margins so that it doesn't hit the border. Margin right will be 2 rem. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. So let's just remove the background color. Now let's style the bottom section. I mean this section. I believe it has a bottom class. Yes. So top section, bottom. Let's again make it position absolute. Bottom will be 0, left will be 0, width will be 100%, height will be 25 rem, and let's add a background color of red so that we can see things clearly. And let's make it a display grid. And on every single grid there will be only one column. So grid template columns, 1 fr for one column. Now we need to move every children to the center horizontally and vertically. So we can just use place items to center. It will make justify items and align items both to the center. It is just a shorthand property in case if you don't know. And also let's add some padding on four sides. So padding 2 rem. And let's change the background color. We're going to use a gradient. Let me show you. We're going to use this black gradient. So I'm just going to paste the value here. This one, it has a background color. I'll just copy this declaration and I'll paste it here. And now you can see it has a gradient background. Now let's style the logo. I'll copy this line and we need to select the logo inside, and we just need to give height of 3 rem. And also let's make text align to the center. Text align to center. Now let's select the title, try up to 1 month free. Where it is, this title. So I will copy this line and this time it will be title. Let's change the color. We're going to use the variable that I've shown you earlier. So var, and the variable name was -- logo green. Font size will be 1.3 rem. Then font weight will be 600, and letter spacing will be 0.5 pixels. Sorry for the noise, guys. Then line height will be 3. Now let's select the description. I'll copy this again. So it will be description. Let's give it a font size of 1.5 rem. Font weight will be 300. Let's style the trial button. So it has a class, I guess, where it is. Here it has a free trial button class. I'll paste it here. So display will be inline block. Padding will be 1.5 rem for top and bottom and 3 rem for left and right. And let's change the color to white. Text transform uppercase. Border of 0.2 rem. Solid white. Then border radius 0.5 rem. And font size will be 1.3 rem. And font weight will be 600. Okay, so our bottom section is done. Now let's style the middle section, which looks like this. So let's select the middle section. I will copy this line and it will be middle. So let's make it display grid. Then grid template columns will be 1 FR so that it stays only 1 column per row. Justify items to center to make things center horizontally. Then text align will be center, and our padding top will be 15 view height. It will be responsive when we will shrink the screen height. Then margin will be 0 and auto to make things horizontally center. And the max width will be 80 rem. We don't see the text. Let me make it full screen. Something is weird. So let's just keep going. Let's select the middle banner, this one. So let's select middle banner. And let's give it a padding of 0 for top and bottom and 2 rem for left and right. And let's select the image inside the middle banner container. And it will be image. Let's give it a height of 100% and width will be also 100%. And we can see everything, and also they are at the center. Actually, I have made a mistake. This title and this title will have same style. So let's just go to where is the title style? Okay, so here. So select every element which has a title class. Doesn't has to be in the bottom class element. So let's just delete the bottom class here and select every title inside the top section. Okay, so here is the style. Now let's style the subtitle. So I will just copy this line and I'll paste it here. And we need to select subtitle. Let's give it a margin to the top. Margin top will be 0.5 rem. Font size will be 1.8 rem. Font weight will be 600 and line height will be 1.4. Actually, margin top will be 0.8 rem. And now let's style the bundle button. So let's select the bundle button. Background will be white. Color will be black. Font size will be 1.5 rem. Font weight will be 700. Border radius will be 0.5 rem. Margin will be 2.5 rem and 0 for left and right. Width will be 80% of its container, but max width will be 30 rem and height will be 5 rem. And let's add a hover effect. So I will copy this, add hover selector, and let's add background color. It will be RGBA value, and the value 255, 255, and 255, which means white, and we will use 0.8 for transparency. And we have this little hover effect. Now let's style the details section. Then we will work on our login modal. So top section, details, and let's make opacity to 0.7 and select the anchor tags. I'll copy these lines and let's select the anchor tag. Let's make color white. Text decoration underline. Okay, so our top section is looking pretty good and it's done for now. Later we will make it responsive. Now let's work on the login modal. Let me show you this one. Okay, so let's do it. So after the top section, let's create another section with a class of modal container. Then we need another container called login modal. then modal header, and inside the modal header we need a close icon to close the modal. So close icon. I will add a background image for that, not an image tag. Then after the modal header, we want to add a login form. So form.login form. Then we will need a title. So h2.title, and title will be login. And now we need to create an input with ID of email, and the type will be email. And I'll copy this, and this time it will be password, and ID will also be password. Now we need to create label for each of the input. So label. Now for the for attribute we need to pass the ID of the input. So first it will be email, and the value will be email. I will copy this, and this time it will be password, and also the value will be password. And now let's add a forget link. So forget link, and the text will be let me just copy it. Forgot your email or password. Then we need a button. Type will be submit, and it will have a class of login button. Oops, it should be login button. Now after the form we need to add a little bit of text. This don't have an account, start your free trial. So I will use a class modal bottom text, and let me just copy it. And we also need an anchor tag, and the text will be start your free trial. And that's it for the modal, and our modal looks like this. So let's style them. So I will create another file, modal, not modal, login modal.css. Let me close this file for now, and I will import the login modal file. So login modal.css. Let's select the modal container, and let's make it position fixed. Top will be 0, left will be 0, width will be 100%, and height will be 100%. And let's give it a background, and the value will be RGBA. It will be total black, so it will be 000, and the alpha value will be 0.5. I guess there's a little bit of problem. I don't see the modal container. Let me refresh. No effect. Let's inspect this. The styles are not attached. Okay, so I got it. So let's go to index.html, and in the modal container class I have added only a single underscore, so let's add another. Okay, so now the styles has been added. Let's add a z index. Let's go extreme 99999. Now let's select the login modal. So login modal, height will be 100 view height, background color will be white, max width will be 50 rem, width will be 90%. Min width will be 20 rem. Then padding will be as 5 rem for 4 corners, and then padding top will be 0. Now let's select the modal header, which has the close icon element. Let's select modal header. Let's give it a height of 7 rem. And let's make it display grid. And let's use place items, center, and right. Now let's select the close icon. I will copy this line. And class will be close icon. Let's add the background image. Oops. URL. It will be, just go one step back, then media, then close.svg. Background repeat will be no repeat. Then background size will be cover. Then give it a height of 2 rem. Then width of 2 rem. Something is wrong. This icon should not be here. It should be on the right side. Okay, so it should not be place self, it should be place items. Alright, so now it's looking good. Now let's style the form. Let's select the login form. Display will be flex, and flex direction will be column. Let's select the title. I'll copy this line and select title, and let's give a color, and the value will be hex value 272C35. Then font size will be 2.4 rem. Font weight will be 500. Later spacing will be 0.25 pixels. Margin will be 3.2 rem for top and bottom, and 0 for left and right. Now let's select the labels. So I will copy these lines and just select all the labels. Color will be hex value. It will be 636E85. Then font size will be 1.5 rem. Font weight will be 800. Letter spacing will be 1.25 pixels. And line height will be 2. And now let's select the input. I will copy them, and let's select the input. Width will be 100%. Height will be 4.8 rem. Border radius will be 0.4 rem. Font size will be 1.6 rem. Then text indent is 1.6 rem. Then color will be hex value 000, which is black. Let's add margin to the top, 0.8 rem. Then margin to the bottom, 2.4 rem. And let's give a border 1 pixel solid, hex value 272C35. Alright, so let's type something here. You can see it's looking good. Now let's style the forget link. So forget link. Let's give it a color, and the value will be 176EE1, and font size will be 1.4 rem. Text decoration will be none. Then margin bottom, margin bottom 3 rem. Now when we will hover over the link, there will be a hover effect, so I will copy them. Let's add the hover pseudo selector. Oops, I made a mistake. It should not be text transform, it should be text decoration. I'll copy this, and it will be underlined when we will hover over the link. And now let's style the login button. Actually I don't see the login button. Have I added that? Okay, so I didn't add the text here, so it will be log in. I will copy this class. So width will be 100%, height will be 4.8 rem, border radius will be 0.4 rem. Actually I still don't see the login button. Maybe it has a color white, I guess. Let's change the color, actually the background color. The color will be 040405. Okay, so here is our button, and let's get rid of border. Font size will be 1.4 rem. Font weight will be 500. Letter spacing will be 1.5 pixels. Text align will be center. Padding will be 1.7 rem for top and bottom, and 0 for left and right. Margin bottom will be 0.8 rem. Then opacity will be 0.5. And our button is looking good. Now let's style the bottom text. So it has a class of modal bottom text. Let's give it a font size of 1.4 rem. Font weight will be 500. Letter spacing 1.25 pixels. Margin top will be 10 rem. Text align will be center. And you can see our modal is now ready. It's looking pretty good. Now let's add the close and open functionality. We need to use JavaScript for that. Now by default the modal container will be invisible, so we need to make display none. But if the modal container has a class called isOpen, then it will be shown. If it has a isOpen class, display will be block. We need to toggle this isOpen class on the modal container to hide or show the modal. Okay, so it has been hidden. Now let's create a JavaScript file. I'll call it index.js. And let's just add it to our index.html. Here. So script. And let's add a source. It will be js/index.js. And let's go to index.js. So let's select the modal container, const modal container element will be document.querySelector, and just pass the class name. I will copy this from here. And let's select the modal close element, const modal close dot query selector, and where is the class name? Okay, so it has a close icon, class name, close icon. Now let's create a variable, const is open. The value will be the class name is open. And let's create a function, const toggle modal. It will be an arrow function. And let's select modal container element dot class list dot toggle, and we need to toggle the isOpen class. And let's add event listener to the modal container. So modal container element dot add event listener. We need to listen for the click event and just pass that toggle modal function. I will copy this 2 more times. This time it will be login link. Sorry, not login link, modal close element. Actually, I need to get the login link button. So const login link element will be document.querySelector, and it has a class of login link. And let's just toggle on login link element. Okay, so now it should work. So let's click on the login button. Alright, so here is our navigation. Let's click on the modal container and it disappears. Let's click on it again and click on the close icon. It's not really working. Okay, so let's open up the dev tool. Let's see if we have any error or not. We don't have any error. Okay, so let's console log the login element. Sorry, the close icon element. So console.log modal close element. The close icon element is here, but it's not really working. So let's do a console log in the toggle modal function. Click. So let's open up the modal again. Let's click on it. Alright, so the click is happening. You can see it has been printed out, but why it's not closing?
Many minutes later.
Alright guys, so after debugging for many times, I found the problem. The problem is the event bubbling, because when I click on this close icon, the toggle modal function runs 2 times. First time it runs on the icon, then it bubbles up to its container and finds if it has any event listener, and it finds modal container and it has a toggle modal function. I mean the click event listener with a toggle modal function. So the toggle modal function runs again. So first it removes the class, then immediately the class gets attached again. So that's why it's not really working. I tried to fix it with event stop propagation, but I don't know why it didn't really work. So I have to take a little bit different approach. So basically we have to modify our code a little bit, our HTML and CSS code. So let's just go to the HTML and find the modal section here. So basically here we just need to create another element for overlay that will be behind our login modal. I mean, I'm keep saying it modal, but it isn't really a modal right now. We will convert it to a modal when we will increase our screen size, like I have showed you earlier. So basically we have to create an overlay, and that overlay will be behind this section. And when we will click on that overlay, that will close the modal container. So we don't have to add another click event listener to this modal container. I hope it solves the problem. If you want to learn more about event bubbling, Westboss has a great video about event bubbling. So I would highly recommend you to check that out. So let's just create an overlay with a class of modal overlay. This will be empty element. So let's open up the modal.css file. Sorry, login modal CSS file. We need to style the overlay. But before that, let's fix the modal container. We have to remove some styles. We don't need this Z index, background color, and everything will be same. And let's just select the modal overlay. Actually, let's just copy the class name. And now let's give it a position, absolute. Then top left will be 0, height width will be 100%. And background color will be black. And opacity will be 0.5. And you can see the overlay is on top. We need to move it to the back. So Z index will be -1. Alright, so now it is in the back. And now let's just go to index.js and let's just select the overlay. Const modal overlay element will be document.querySelector, and I will just pass the modal overlay class. And we will remove the event listener from modal container, and we will add a modal overlay element. And let's just save the file, and everything should work fine now. So let's click on the login button. Okay, and now let's click on the close icon. Alright, so it's working. And let's click on the overlay, and everything is working fine. Let's just remove this console log, and also you can remove this curly braces. And everything is still working fine. Now that our modal is done, or you can say the site navigation for now, later we will convert it to modal. Now we can work on our next section, which is this library section. So let's quickly do that. So I will close this JavaScript file. So after the modal section, let's create another section with a class of library. And inside the library, there will be a header. So let's create an element, class of library header. And here we will have a similar element, include all plans, like we have in try up to 1 month for free. So we will add the same class to it. I guess it has a class of title. Where it is? Yes, it has a class of title. So I'm just gonna give it a class of title. So title. I'm just gonna copy the text and I will paste it here. Then I want another text. I will call it library title. I just don't know what to call it. Just ignore my naming. So library title. I'll copy the text. Then I want a description. it will be library description, and I will also copy this from here. And that's it for the header. Now let's create another element, actually a container, the container for this grid. So let's create that. So library grid. Now each of this grid item is a link, actually an anchor tag, and inside those anchor tag we will put all of this thing. So anchor tag with class of library grid item, and inside the anchor tag we will have a div to contain this text. So I will call it library text container. So for the first text I will call it text1. It will be past and current seasons, and then I will add another text, text2, TV shows, and after the text container I will add an overlay. So overlay and the image, media slash cover1.jpg, and that is our grid item. So I'm just gonna copy them and create 3 more of this. Actually I have kept all of the text the same. If you want to change them you can. Let's change the cover image. Second we'll have cover 2, third we'll have cover 3, and finally it's cover 4. And I guess that's it for the grid, and this is what we have. So let's style them. So let's create another file. In the CSS directory I will call it library.css, and also let's attach the CSS file, library.css. So let's first select the library, oops, not square brackets, curlies, and let's give it a height of 100 view height. Then background color will be black. Then display flex direction will be column, and justify content will be center. Okay, so now let's select the header first, I mean the library header. So let me just copy the class name. Let's make color to white, text align to center, and padding of 5 rem for top and bottom, and 2 rem for left and right. We don't see the library header. I don't know why. Let's keep moving forward. Now let's select the library title. I will copy the class name. Let's make font size to 3.6 rem. Font weight to bold. Then margin bottom to 1.6 rem.
Many minutes later.
Okay, so after debugging some times, I found that the problem is on height. On the library selector, it should be min height, not height. And here we can see the library header. And another thing that is include all plans, the title class element has not been styled. Let's go to the top section CSS file. and where it is, find the title selector. Okay, so here top section title. I'm just gonna remove the top section from the selector list, and from now every title will have the same styles. Okay, so now you can see the text has been styled, and now let's go to library. Now let's select the library description. So library description, and font size will be 1.6 rem. Line height will be 2.4 rem. Then font weight will be 500. The styles hasn't been applied. Oh, sorry, I misspelled the class name. And now the style has been applied. Now let's select the grid. So library grid, and let's make it display grid template columns, 1fr 1fr. There will be 2 items in a row. Why it didn't applied? I guess the problem is in the image height. This image is so big, maybe that's why it's not happening. Let me full screen the screen. Okay, so here you can see we have 2 column grid. So let's add styles. So grid gap will be 2 rem. Padding will be 2 rem. Then justify items of center. We'll fix this in a minute. Let's just select the grid item. So library grid item. Let's make it display block. Then position relative, and width will be 100%. Now let's select the image. So I will copy this line, and let's select the image. The width will be 100%. Height will be auto. Okay, so now you can see that it has been fixed. It was behaving weirdly because of the image. We have 2 column grids. And also let's make it position relative. Now let's create the overlay. So overlay, let's make content of empty string. Display will be block. Then position is absolute. Top will be 0, and left will also be 0. Then width will be 100%, and height will also be 100%. Now we need to add a background. Now the overlay will be a linear gradient. I'm just gonna copy it from the original demo. Inspect this. Where it is. Okay, so I will copy this value, and I will paste it here. And we still don't see the background, maybe because of z-index. And z-index, let's give 5. And you can see the overlay, it's looking good. Now let's select the text container on the top. And I will just copy the class name. Where it is. So library text container. Let's keep padding of 2 rem. Color. Oops. And color to be white, then position absolute, top will be 0, left will be 0, and let's add z index of 10. Okay, so now they are at the front. Now let's style the text individually. So I will copy this line and I will select the text one class. Font size will be 1.2 rem. Then line height will also be 1.2 rem. Then margin bottom will be 0.5 rem. The style didn't apply. Oops, I made a mistake. The font, it will not be font weight, it will be font size. And let's add font weight bold to the text container. Font weight bold. And now let's select the text two. I'll copy them. Font size will be 1.6 rem. Line height will be 1.6 rem. And don't need margin bottom. Oops, it has to be text too. And also let's make text capitalize. So text transform capitalize. Alright, so our library is now looking pretty good. Now let's work on the next section, which is this live sports section, or I can say the spotlight section. That's what they call in the main website. So let's create that. So here, after the library section, I'm going to create another section with the class of spotlight. And inside the spotlight section, we will have a spotlight content container to contain all of these tabs, this title, description, channel stack, everything. So spotlight content, and then there will be a header with the class of spotlight header, and inside the spotlight header there will be an h2, and the text will be live sports. Then we will have a spotlight title, and the text will also be live sports. Then we need a spotlight description. Spotlight description. And I'm just gonna paste the text from here. And then we will need a container for the channel stack to contain all of these logos. So channel stack, and every single item will have a channel item container, this white background that you're seeing, and inside that channel item container there will be an image. So channel item, and inside the channel item there will be an image with a class of channel icon, and source will be media / live sports 1.png, and I will create 3 instances of the channel item container. Sorry, not 3. There will be 4 items. Okay, so let me format this code a bit. Okay, and now let's change the images. Second one will be logo 2, then there will be logo 3, and then there will be logo 4. And this is what we have for now, but there is only 3 logo. I think we have a problem. Let's see. Okay, so the third picture will not be PNG, it will be SVG. Okay, so now we have the third logo. So these are looking terrible, so let's style them. I'll create another file called spotlight.css, and let's just include that in the HTML, and it would be spotlight.css. So let's first select the spotlight item. Now I also want this section to take the full height, so height will be 100 view height. Then background image will be URL media / live sports small.jpg. Because we are working with small screen sizes, there's another image for the bigger screen size. Alright, so here is the image. Now let's make background repeat to no repeat. Then background size to cover, and background position will be center. Color to white, then padding to 2 rem. Let's select the spotlight content. Actually I will just copy the class name where it is. Okay, so here. Now let's make text align to center, padding of 0 for top and bottom, 8 rem for left and right. Alright, so now let's select the header. I will copy the class name. Let's make display inline block, then margin of 6 rem for top and bottom and 0 for left and right. Then give it a border to the bottom of 0.6 rem, solid white. Then padding bottom of 1 rem. Then text transform, capitalize. Sorry, not capitalize, it will be uppercase. Now let's get the spotlight title. Let's make font weight to bold. Then font size will be 3.6 rem. Line height of 4 rem. Then margin 2 rem for top and bottom and 0 for left and right. Then let's select the spotlight description. Let's make font size to 1.6 rem. Line height 2.4 rem. Now let's style the channel stack. I will copy this class name. Let's make it display flex wrap to wrap, justify content to center, and align items to center. Let's make margin of 0 and auto for left and right. Then max width will be 55 rem. Now let's select the channel item. So I'll copy this. Let's make it display inline block. We need to add a background image. The background image, actually this white background that you are seeing, it is actually an image, so we need to add that. So background image will be URL /media /network logo pg.png. Then make background where is this, repeat to no repeat, background size to cover, then background position to center. Then let's make height to 8 rem, and also width will be 8 rem to make it square. And then make it display. Oops, sorry, I have made display inline block, sorry, just remove it. Then add display to grid, then make place items to center. Place items is just a shorthand property of align items and justify items. So we have given center, so center will be the value of both properties. Now they are not looking good, we need to select the channel icon. So let's just select channel icon. Let's copy it. Let's give it a width of 70%, and height will also be 70%. And let's make object fit to contain. Alright, so now they are looking pretty good. So let's just go to the channel item again. Let's add some margin. So margin right will be 2 rem, and margin top will be 3 rem. Alright, so now they are looking pretty good, and our spotlight section is done. Now let's work on the footer. The footer has an accordion, but if I click on it, it expands, and we also have some links, and on the bottom we have some social links. So let's create that quickly. So I don't need spotlight CSS file. Now let's go bottom of the index.html. After the spotlight section, actually, let's create a footer with the footer class. Let's create another container. It will be called footer section container. Now each of the accordion that you are seeing will be a separate section. So let's create a footer section, and each of the section will have a title, and the title will be a container, and that container will contain the title text and this expand icon, which will be only visible for small screen size. Actually, let's make it bigger. You can see that on the bigger screen sizes there is no accordion. You have nothing to expand or collapse, but they are still a separate section, and on every single section you can see there are links and they are divided into columns. So we also need to handle that. Inside the footer section, let's create footer title. So footer section title, and here will be a title text, and the title text will be like browse, and then there will be a expand section icon. So expand section icon, and it will be empty because we will add this expand icon as a background image. Now after the section title there will be a container for links, so I will call it footer section links, and every single section will have column, so it will be called section links column, and each of the column will have links with a class of footer section link, and the text will be like streaming library, and there will be multiple links, and that's how you create each of the section and their columns. So I'm just going to paste all of the links, all of the section code, so that you don't have to see me type that out. Alright, so I have pasted all of the links, all of the sections. So let's see. So this is what we have. So let's style them. I'll create another file called footer.css, and let's quickly add that, and it will be footer.css. So let's just first select the footer, give it a background color of a hex code F5, F6, F7, then padding 0 for top and bottom, 4 rem for left and right. Text transform will be capitalized. Then get the footer section, border bottom 1 pixel solid, and the color will be a hex code DCDFE6. Now let's select the section title. I will just copy the class name. Let's give it a padding of 5 rem for top and bottom and 0 for left and right. Then cursor will be pointer, then display will be flex. Let's select the title text. I will copy this line and select the title text. Let's give it a font color 262930 and a flex scroll of 1. Then let's make font weight a bold and font size of 1.5 rem. Now let's select the section icon, expand section icon. Let's give it a background image, URL /media expand button.png. Let's give it a height of 2 rem and width will also be 2 rem. Then background size to cover, and also make background repeat to no repeat. And also let's give some margin, 0 for top and bottom, 2 rem for left and right. Now let's select the section links. So I will copy this line and let's make it display grid. Now by default it will be none because you need to expand the section to see the links. Then grid template columns will be 1FR. Now let's style the columns. So I will copy this line and I need to select section links column class. Let's make it display flex direction to column, and let's give margin bottom 2 rem. Now let's select the actual link. So I will copy this class and let's make it display block and color to a hex value 656 B7B. Let's increase the font size 1.4 rem. Then padding right will be 1.5 rem. Then padding bottom will be 1 rem. And text transform will be capitalized. Now let's add the this media icons. After all of the link section, here right above the footer. So let's create a section with a class of social media container. We need to add icons, but as a link. So anchor tag with a class of social media link. And I will copy this 3 more times. Now I'm going to add background images to each of these links. To separate them from each other, we need to add classes. So first item will be Facebook. The second item will be Twitter. Then YouTube. Then it will be Instagram. Now we need to add links. This ones I will call it legal links. So I will create another section with a class of footer legal links. It will contain links, and those links will be similar to the section links. So I'm just going to paste the links. Alright, so these are the links that we need, and our links now look like this. So let's style the social media container. So let's select the class social media container. Before we style the container, let's first add the images. I will just paste the necessary code to add the images. So now let's style the social media link itself. I'll copy this selector. Let's make it display inline block. So not flex, block. Then height is 3.5 rem. Then width will be 2 rem. Then background repeat will be no repeat. Now let's go to the social media container. Display will be flex. Justify content will be space evenly. We still don't see the images. Okay, so I've made a spelling mistake, so let's just fix it quickly. And also I have made a mistake on Twitter spelling. This will be double T. Now this should fix the error. Alright, so now we are seeing the images. Let's style it more. Let's add padding to the container. 3 rem for top and bottom, and 0 for left and right. Then margin of 0 and auto, so that it stays center horizontally, and give it a max width of 50 rem. So they are looking pretty good. Now let's style the legal links. So I will copy this class name. Let's make it display to flex, then flex wrap to wrap, padding of 3 rem for top and bottom, and 0 for left and right. Then justify content to space evenly, and max width will be 80 rem, and margin of 0 and auto. Alright, so our legal links are also looking good. Now let's handle the functionality of the expansion and collapse of this recursion. So let's just go to the footer section links, where it is, and let's just make it display none. because by default it will be invisible. But if the footer section has a isExpanded class, then it will be display grid again. So I will just copy this class. So if the footer section has isExpanded, then we will select the footer section links. And we will make it display to grid. If the section is expanded, then we need to rotate this this icon. So I will copy this selector again, and let's go here and space it here. So if the footer section is expanded, then we will rotate this icon. So transform will be rotate on z-axis, and we need to rotate 180 degrees. Now by default it will be rotated in 0 degrees. So let's make it 0 degree. And also we want to add a transition to it. So transition, we need to animate transform in 0.3 second. And the type will be is in and out. So now we need to go to index.js. We need to select the expand icon and also the title. So const footer title element will be document.querySelector all. It will be footer section title. Then we need to loop over the title element for each, and we will get element on every single loop as parameter. And we need to add event listener. We need to listen for click, and then we need to call a function which is toggle expand section. Now the function is not created yet. We need to pass a parameter, and the parameter will be the parent element of the current title that you have clicked on. So for example, if you have clicked on this section title, then its parent section will be expanded, not these two, only these ones. So element dot parent element. And we haven't implemented the toggle expand section function, so let's create that. So const, actually why don't I just copy this, and this will take a parameter element, and I'm just gonna call element dot class list dot toggle, and the class name is expanded. So let's save the file, and everything should work fine. Let's click on it. It's not really working. Let's open up the dev tool. Let's go to console. Failed to execute add event listener on event target. Parameter 2 is not of type object. Oops, I have to return a function from toggle expand section. That function will run this line of code. So let's create another function, and now it should fix it. Alright, so let's click on it. Okay, so you can see it expanded the section, and again it collapsed. And let's click on it. See, it's really working, and also we have an animation of the rotation of the expand icon. So our footer is really working. Alright, so now we can say that we are almost done with this web page. Now all we need to do is just make it responsive for bigger screen sizes. Our work is almost done. We don't need to write much code. So let's just create a new file. I will call it responsive.css. Now there will be 4 breakpoints that we are going to use. we will have SM breakpoint, which will start from 600 pixels. Then we will have MD screen size, which will start from 900 pixels. And then we will have LG screen size, which starts from 1200 pixels. And there will be XL, which will have 1600 pixels. Now it's up to you what breakpoint to use. I'm just going to show you how to make things responsive. So I will comment this out. So let's first add the first media query for SM screen size, which starts from 600 pixels. So media, actually let's just add the responsive file to our HTML. I will copy this and it will be responsive.css. So media screen and min width of 600 pixels. We just need to modify the library title, this one. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this class and let's make font size to 6 rem, and let's also increase the browser screen width. Now it is about 800 pixels. Okay, so the title is now big. Now let's work on the second breakpoint, which starts from 900 pixels. So I'll copy this code. I will delete these lines. Now we need to select the library grid, the container that is containing these 4 images. So library, not title, it will be grid. And we will make grid template columns. To repeat, we're going to use autofit so that we don't have to specify how many columns there need to be in a row. It will be adjusted automatically when we will change our browser width. Second argument, we have to pass min max, which is the size. Min max is a function, if you don't know. The minimum width has to be 100 pixels and the maximum will be 300 pixels. And justify content to center. And if I just increase the screen width, you can see all of the columns are adjusted automatically. We don't have to do anything. So that's really cool. And now let's just get the spotlight section. So spotlight. And we just need to change the background image from this to this image. So background image URL /media/livesports.jpg. Alright, so here is our image, and I have made a mistake. It should not be 600 pixels, it should be 900 pixels. Sorry for that. And the browser width has to be over 900 pixels. So sorry guys. And everything will be same. Just I've made a mistake on this min width value. Actually, I will move this browser to second workspace. Now the screen size is about 950 pixels. That's good for us. And we need to move everything to the center vertically. So let's make display grid and align items to center. Alright, so it is now at the center, but we need to move this section to the left hand side like this. So let's select the spotlight content. Let's keep padding to 0. Text align will be left. And max width will be 50 rem, and padding left will be 10 rem. Alright, so now it is looking pretty good. Let's select the spotlight header. I will just copy this class and then make margin bottom to 5 rem. Okay, and now we need to remove this expand icon, because on bigger screen size you see that there is no accuracy, so there is nothing to expand. So get rid of that. Where is the class expand section icon? So let's just copy paste it here, and let's make it display none, and let's select the footer section links because they are going to be visible now. Let's make them display grid, and grid template columns will be repeat, again auto fit, and again min max function. The minimum value will be 100 pixels and the maximum will be 1 FR. Alright, so you can see that the columns are aligned horizontally. Now let's align all of these sections horizontally. So let's select footer section container, where it is, here it is. I'll copy this. Let's make display grid and grid template columns. The first column will have 3 FR and the second ones will be 1 FR and 1 FR. The first one will take 3 times more space than the next two ones, and you can see they are aligned horizontally, and we need to remove this cursor from the title. So I will select this class, and let's make cursor to auto. Okay, so now we don't have the cursor effect. Alright, so our website is now responsive for MD screen size. Now let's work on the LG screen size. So again, I will copy this line, and instead of 600 pixels, now it will be 1200 pixels. And now we need to convert our this login form, or left section you can say, into a modal. So let's just first select the login modal. I will copy this class name, and let's just make it position absolute. Top will be 50%, left will be 50%, then transform will be translate negative 50% horizontally, and again negative 50% for vertically. So let's give it a height of auto. Alright, so you can see that it's really now looks like a modal and everything is working fine. And our website is now responsive for LG screen size. Now let's work on the final breakpoint, which is the Excel breakpoint. I will copy this line. And we just need to change the padding of the footer. So padding will be 0 for top and bottom and 15 rem for left and right. So let's increase the screen width. Alright, so now it is more than 1600 pixels. So let's go to the footer and let's inspect this. Alright, so padding has been attached. So our web page is now ready, but I have found some problem on my code. Let's just increase the depth tool. Okay, so you can see that on the footer I have made background position to a hex color. It will be background color. So let's open up the footer.css. I don't know why I didn't notice them earlier. So it will be color. It will be not text decoration, it will be text transform. Alright, so now it is good. And another problem that I found is on these sections. Let's just go to real mobile view. Here you can see that these channel items will overlap with this TV, so that won't look good. So one way I can solve this problem is to give it a min height to this section. So let's just open up the Spotlight CSS file. And here I'm gonna give a min height property of 80 rem. And also the Spotlight content has too much padding. It has about 8 rem. It is not looking good. So instead I'm gonna give like 2 rem. Yeah, that's looking good. So let's just decrease the padding from 8 rem to 2 rem. Okay, so now it's looking good. Let's go to the top and let's just go to the responsive mode. And you can see that if the screen size is too small, this bottom section and the middle section might overlap. Let's just also give this section a minimum height so that it doesn't overlap. So min height, I'm gonna give about like 80 rem. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. 80 rem is fine. So let's open up the top section CSS file, and let's just give a min height of 80 rem. Alright, so it is looking good and our web page is done. Alright, so our project is done. If the video has been helpful for you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you have any question or any suggestion, feel free to comment down below. You can also reach out to me on any social media as thatonjohn. And if you have liked this project, you might also like this project too. This is a slide-based landing page I have created with full-page.js. You can think of this as a slide. I can scroll down. You can see the next section immediately snaps to the top. I can also navigate through keyboard. It has some horizontal slides. I can go to the top. I can go down. I can go to the left. I can move down. Okay, so it's a really cool project. I believe you love this. So go ahead and check this out.